All right, so welcome back again. What we're going to focus on this time is adding two extremely popular frameworks to our web app. We're going to focus on Bootstrap, which is a CSS framework that I'll talk more about. And we're going to also introduce jQuery, which is a JavaScript framework we're going to add. We're not just going to add these and do nothing. We're going to add some features to our Movie Quotes app, and then we're going to give you an assignment lab with weather picks. Let's go ahead and start off by just kind of looking at the finished product. That's always a good way to do things. So this is my finished product. So you can see I've kind of run this through once. So if you go to fisherdmoviquotes.appspot.com, it'll be in some state. Right now I've got it in this state here. You can see it's the same app that we've been working with before. So it's still got movie quotes. So it's still got the same abilities to add quotes, and it's still got movies. The way we're displaying it is very different. So we're displaying things in a table format. So you can see it's got these nice pretty striped rows. All of the pretty you see here comes from Bootstrap. You also see that the form area at the top is no longer present. Now what we've got is if we click on add quote, it brings in this dialog box. It's got this form that we can fill out. It's got the text box highlighted, and I'll say my newest quote, and then my movie title. Didn't really feel like thinking of anything clever. As soon as I hit enter, it will go ahead and load it up. I could have also clicked the confirm. And you can see that my newest quote appears on top. My movie title appears right next to it. So this is very similar to what we've done before, right? It's got a lot of new pretty. We're also adding some additional features though. So you can see that there's an edit button up here. And what the edit button does is it brings up a way that you can edit these things. So if I wanted to edit this one, it looks like I've got a capital M in movie title. Maybe I didn't. And then maybe I wanted to say my newest movie title. And obviously what's different about editing a quote, so you can see this pop-up looks different. It now says, edit this movie quote, and I want to say edit it, and that's great, is that it doesn't make a new one. It just edits the existing one. You can also do things in the edit. So if you click on edit, looks like it flowed a little differently there, not worried about it. And I click on delete. Are you sure you want to delete this quote? And I'll say, yes, please delete that quote. Now it's gone. So we're adding a lot of pretty. We're adding a lot of new UI components. We're also going to be adding this ability to edit and this ability to delete. And all these things are going to be made possible by Bootstrap and jQuery. Let's talk about what those two are, just really briefly as an introduction. So by the end of this unit, you should be able to explain what they are, why they're useful, and you should be able to build an AppEngine web app using these new tools to create your own app once we give you an assignment with weather picks. So first off, what is Bootstrap? So I stole this verbiage from Wikipedia. So it's a free collection of tools for creating websites, right? Particularly, it's really good at giving you HTML components. So web browsers are great at displaying things, but they don't give you tools, right? There's not there are buttons, but there aren't drop-down menus. There's not dialog boxes. There's not pretty ways to make form. There's a lot of things that there's a space there that you could add to, and Bootstrap is the most popular way that people are fixing that problem. It does come with a little bit of JavaScript, but to be honest, it's an HTML and CSS, particularly CSS design template. It was first launched in I think 2011 or something like that. It's been the #1 project on GitHub. It has the most stars and the most forks of any project out there. It's completely free. It's managed by a team of people that publish a new version. At the time this video was made, they were up to version 3.2, but they release them so fast, who knows what they're up to these days. The website for Bootstrap is getbootstrap.com. One of the things they mention on their website, which I kind of like, is, what are they? So there are a couple things. They're a way that you can work with Sass and Less. These are tools for making CSS more efficiently with variables and things like that. We're probably not going to cover that in this class, and certainly not in this day. Another thing they are that I really like is they have a focus on mobile first, right? So when you make a website, you really need to make a website that has a responsive UI, so it can display on a web browser, on a phone, it can display on a computer. you have one site that does all these different things. It's called a responsive UI. And this is one of the things that has made Bootstrap just extremely popular, is the things they do to try to make this responsive UI. And then the other thing is it's full of features, which is nice and generic. If you want to do things like tooltips on buttons, if you want to do things like the dialog window that you saw pop up in a Molder, it's got a lot of things like that. The navigation bar at the top, it's got a lot of components that you can use, which is really nice. If you go visit this site, getbootstrap.com, you can see it uses Bootstrap, of course, so they've got one of their own headers. It's kind of divided into 3 sections. There's the CSS, which are just like classes you can add to make your components look prettier, like my table looked prettier because I had the class for table in it. Components, which are things like that modal, the nav bar, things like that. And JavaScript, that was like the displayed animation of the thing. So it's kind of broken into these 3 sections of CSS, components, and JavaScript. And then, of course, it's got a getting started section as well that just kind of gives you an overview of how you get started using this tool, what all is in it, and things like that. So it's a great site to go and explore. We're going to do a lot within this unit, but eventually at some point you should just read it, right? Just like it's a reference manual. So that's Bootstrap. Very, very popular. Been around since 2012 or so. Significantly gaining in popularity. The other tool we use is jQuery. jQuery is a JavaScript framework. So jQuery is entirely different from Bootstrap in that it doesn't help you with any CSS. It doesn't help you with the pretty. It helps you in making rules in JavaScript that make it really easy to make your page interactive, right? So a lot of the features you saw were made possible by JavaScript. So I mean, just as simple as clicking on the Done button and having that show up. I added some JavaScript to make that possible, and that JavaScript was done with jQuery. When you click on like Edit, the thing that populates the content here, that was done in JavaScript. So that was something that I chose to do with jQuery. So the interactive nature of your website comes from jQuery. jQuery has been around for a long time, and it's just extremely popular. 60%. That is a crazy number. Of the most visited websites use jQuery. That market penetration is just tremendous, right? So jQuery, it's lightweight, it's very useful. To be honest, it makes JavaScript easier. Like if you're going to learn JavaScript on its own, or you're going to learn JavaScript and jQuery together, it's actually easier to learn JavaScript and jQuery together because it does make the much easier to work with. The website, if you go visit it, it's jQuery.com. You can go visit it. They've got some really great tutorials and ways to learn about jQuery. All right, so that's it for our introduction lecture. Our goal is that we're going to be developing our app some more, and we're going to be doing things like modal dialogues and edit and delete and make a responsive UI for mobile. And we're going to, our ulterior motive is to learn about Bootstrap and jQuery. All right, we'll see you next time when we really start getting started.